Yo, what's going on YouTube? David Benavidez versus Rogelio Medina. Um, these if you guys don't know about David Benavidez, let me just start off giving you a little bit of background about David Benavidez. For one, they fought. Him and Medina fought May 20th. This Saturday, this weekend. There was a lot of fights going down, man. You just had, Tank versus Walsh. And then you had Gary Russell doing his thing. Then you had Crawford versus Felix Diaz and stuff like that. But this fight was pretty much under the radar. It came on Fox Sports 1, Saturday night, And a lot of people weren't talking about it. I don't blame them because, hell, you had Tank, you got Gary Russell Jr. and stuff like that. And then you had Tank. You had Crawford fighting that night versus Felix Diaz, there was a lot of high profile fights this weekend, And anyway, man, David Benavidez was fighting against Porky Madina. Now, I've heard of his brother, Jose Benavidez, I heard of him. And, when I saw, David, I think I saw David maybe once. I didn't think much of him. He was pretty much laying up on the ropes like his brother and stuff like that. But anyway, man, this fight here with Porky Madina, he let everybody know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't nothing to play around with. You know what I'm saying? He let everybody know I'm not nothing to play around with. This dude has a 94% knockout ratio, and coming into the fight, he was saying, to one of these color commentators or whatever, these reporters or whatever, he's like, yeah, man, I know Medina, as a veteran and everything, I want the knockout. I'm coming in for the knockout because I want to let everybody know I ain't playing. And the way he said it was like he was for real, like for real, like I ain't playing, like I'm coming to whip somebody up in this 168 pounds because he's super middleweight. Yeah, he's a super middleweight. And he's known as El Bandera Roja, red flag. That's what he goes by, red flag. And this dude's 20 years old, man. This dude is 20 years old. He's been fighting since he was 3 years old, since he was like a baby, man. He's fighting since he was a baby. And this is one of the guys that probably could have gone to the Olympic Games just last year. I mean, this dude's only 20 years old. But no, I don't think people get is that a lot of, like the American fighters, ever since, when they started off with that point system, a lot of guys been getting cheated and stuff like that. You got Roy Jones, he got snubbed. You got Floyd Mayweather, he probably been snubbed, in the Olympics and stuff like that. If anybody ever like taken note that a lot of American guys have been going pro, you know what I'm saying? They just been developing a fighting style to the pro style and not the Olympics style. So you saw guys like Sugar Shane Mosley, Winky Wright, these guys didn't make the Olympic teams and stuff like that coming up. And so you see that with a lot of dudes, and like this guy not a gold medalist or anything like that. They ain't medaling, they just going straight pro. A good example is Keith Thurman. He was like, man, I'm a high school dropout. I just went straight to the pros. I signed a contract at age 17 and stuff like that to go pro. It's like, I ain't got to do no Olympic stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so, anyway, this David Benavidez guy, turns out that age 13, this dude's from Arizona, man. This is American. The guy I'm talking about, David Benavidez, is an American, he born right here in the United States, Phoenix, Arizona, resides in Phoenix, Arizona. Him and his brother are in the wild card gym, you know what I'm saying? When the dude was like 13 years old, he decided, him and his people, decided that they wanted to go ahead and do some amateur boxing, but the dude was like 250 pounds. Dude was a heavyweight. He was like, man, we ain't got too many heavyweights to go up against, so let's cut some weight. And with a good diet, dude drops off 80 something odd pounds, and I guess he decides to campaign at middleweight. So anyway, this dude's a super middleweight, and when he decided to go pro, which was like 15 or so, and then he, instead of waiting till he turned 18 and stuff like that, this dude goes right down to Mexico, man. This dude goes right down to Mexico. And that's how I've been saying, like, guys got to get out of their zone. You know what I'm saying? They got to step out of their area. You know what I'm saying? You might be hot in your little country or something like that, but you got to step out of your comfort zone. And so this dude pretty much developed his amateur career, as a pro down in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? So by the time this dude 18 years old, he already had all these fights in Mexico and stuff like that, So yeah, man, he started fighting back in 08 up in Mexico, and he didn't fight until the U.S. until 2015. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know how they do up in Mexico. Those kids are tough, man. You ever watch any fights on Telemundo or anything like that? And these Hispanic channels and stuff. These guys are young, so he was getting it in ever since he was like 16 years old and a pro. And if you notice, they did the same thing with Devin Haney. They're doing the same thing with him, man. They his first debut fight was down in Mexico. They didn't even have him up in the States, so just sent him down to Mexico to see what he do out there. So anyway, long story short, what we looking at is a guy that's probably a cruiserweight, if not a light heavyweight at best, but he said he ain't going up. He's saying that's super middleweight, and he's young, so he can cut the weight if he wants to. He can cut the weight for a good another 7 years if he want to, and he should have no issues. So I don't know what we're looking at. Full-fledged light heavyweight for sure. But probably a solid cruiserweight, campaigning at middleweight. Pretty much what Tony Bellew did. Cut that weight down and go the light heavyweight. But this dude went down at to whatchamacallit, super middleweight. Anyway, long story short, man, you gotta see this fight with Madina, man. This dude was a straight class. Like, he lays up on a rope like his brother. I don't know about the laying up on the ropes. I mean, Floyd Mayweather did it and stuff like that. A lot of these guys ain't Floyd. James DeGale does it. But unlike James DeGale, David Benavidez didn't seem to have any issues with getting hit or anything like that by Porky Madina, because Porky Madina, as soon as he had him on the ropes, he was banging him to the body. Benavidez was like he was smiling the whole time. He looked comfortable, and he was just doing little short shots and stuff like that to this dude's head. And when he realized Porky Madina wasn't going down, do these headshots and stuff like that, he started working the body. And I'm talking about, man, this dude David Benavidez was getting some clean headshots. I don't think it was one break in the action in the fight where these guys weren't throwing some kind of punches at each other and stuff like that. So the punch output was high. It was very high. He wasn't bouncing all over the ring. He had good foot movement. And stuff like that. And he looked relaxed, man. He looked relaxed. That's what's so scary about this dude. It's like he looked very relaxed, very professional at the age of 20, bro. You know what I'm saying? American product, and they had the color commentators have also mentioned that was that Sergio Mora? Yeah, I think so. Sergio Mora was a color commentator. He's like, yeah, I'm not surprised that this guy is going to be 20 years old and a title eliminator. That's what this was. It was a title eliminator for the WBC super middleweight belt. And I'm going to touch on that later. But let me let me finish up with Sergio Mora's comment. Was that he had said that, well, what did he have say? Oh yeah, he said he wasn't surprised that this dude is in line for a title shot at the age of 20 because of all the sparring that he's getting. He's like, dude, this dude is like sparring like 4 minute rounds, like 6, 7 4 minute rounds with uh Gennady Golovkin. I could have sworn he mentioned some other guys to me like Peter Quillen, but maybe I was mistaken. But I could have sworn that came out of his mouth. I watched it like, the final rounds like 2-3 times already, and it changed up. Like he just mentioned Golovkin. I could have sworn he said mentioned Peter Quillen. But anyway, it don't matter. The dude has been sparring against champions. He says, man, this dude's sparring against former champions, if not champions, as of right now. He helped GGG get prepared for the Daniel Jacobs fight. So this guy's ready, man, because he was like banging away at Porky Madina's head, man. He was banging away at Porky Madina's head. Then it was like the 5th or the 6th round. He started going to the body. And he straight low like once, and Porky Medina like complained and stuff like that. But then those other times, clean shots to the body, and they would mess with Porky Medina, man. So anyway, going to the 8th round, where old boy finished Porky Medina. Old boy hits Porky Medina with a clean, vicious uppercut to the body, like bam. And Porky, he wanted to go, but Porky, instead of him like welting and taking a knee or anything like that, Porky fired out a combination. David Benavidez, he catches him, he's smiling and stuff like that, and then he sets him up again, and he goes right to the body again. Right, I'm talking about this is like right to the gut, to the solar plex, like right in the middle, like bam. And then Porky Medina goes down, right? And so, old boy, Porky Medina, he's like, damn, man, he gets right back up. And David Benavidez, he goes to the body again. He's like, bam, 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 bam. Left, right, into the body. And then Porky Medina, he starts covering up his head. And then David Benavidez is like, he went Sugar Ray Leonard on this boy, man. He like shot him over the top of his head. Like, bop, 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 bop. It's coming from the top, like bop, 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 and finished him with the right, and Porky Medina just like falls straight back to the ropes, and the ref is like, man, you done, like you done, you know what I'm saying? I think the ref waves it off, man. But man, that was a good one. That was a good one, man. That was a good one. And y'all gotta watch that fight, man. I was just like, this is the fight of the week, and I saw the fights, man. I saw Javantes, what was it? Javantev, Tank Davis. I'm gonna go with Tank Davis, man. I don't know why they ain't here Javante, but anyway, I'm going with Tank Davis versus the Welsh. I don't know, it was Liam Welsh, or whatever you want to call him, but I'm gonna speak on that too. But anyway, yeah, Crawford. I saw those fights and stuff like that. I'm watching all these fights and stuff. And man, this was the fight of the weekend, man. Dude's like, yo, I want my shot. Now he's the number one contender for the WBC belt versus Callum Smith and what was that? Anthony Jarrell. They fighting for the belt, man. Callum Smith and what was that? Yeah, Anthony Jarrell, they fighting for the belt, I think next week. No, September. Wow, that's a long ways away. Damn, man, they fighting September 9th. Anyway, so it ain't going to be anytime soon. Oh, Lord. That's a bummer. That kind of like stole something. I was like, man, I was excited. I was like, yeah, we're going to see like either, But anyway, because I wanted to see what the hell Callum Smith going to do, because Callum Smith, he's a big guy too, man. He's a big guy too, so I want to see what these guys do, man. I'm gonna speak on Anthony, Darrell, Callum Smith later, but yeah, I want to see the Flag versus Mundu. I want to see Callum Smith versus David Benavidez, man. That's some big guys, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just seeing that, I was excited, man. I was really excited. Anthony Darrell's is not a small guy either, man. This dude's like 6'2" himself. So Dave Benavidez, he's the smaller guy out of all of them, as far as height is concerned. So, but yeah, man, this is just that's how they doing it in America with American boxing, man. You just never know who's gonna come up. Because these guys ain't going through the Olympic Games. Like, every guy ain't going through the amateurs and stuff like that. Some of these guys are walking off the streets. Some of these guys are just going straight pro. And they learning their craft in these gyms and stuff like that. That's why, that's why people got to get out, man. You professional boxer, man. You got to get out where it's hot. In your division, no matter what weight class you at, and just venture out. A good example of that is Joseph Parker, man. Joseph Parker, he's down in New Zealand and stuff like that, but he be training up in the United States in Vegas. Not to say there's anything wrong with the the sparring, in Australia and stuff like that. But if you want to go ahead and get it with some better sparring, like you see, I mean, Jose Benavidez is a prime example, and Keith Thurman right here in the United States of America. So you got two guys weren't even on an Olympic team, ain't got no Olympic medals or anything like that, ain't got no national Pan-American type amateur background and stuff like that. And what do they say? They learn their stuff in the gym. Because, Keith Thurman said he was sparring with Winky Wright and stuff like that, and sparring with all these professionals, coming up out of there, what was it, Clearwater, Florida, I think it is, up out of Florida. And now you got David Benavidez, who ain't got, 15 fights as an amateur, as an amateur. He probably ain't got one gold glove to show for it. And he started off his career up in Mexico. And a lot of those guys in Mexico, they fight unlicensed fights and stuff like that. All they stuff ain't recorded. I know they got the world, what's that, World Series of Boxing or something like that with the ABA or something like that. Go right down to Mexico. You'll find a fight. You build up your craft right there. And it was fitting too. It was fitting that David Benavidez would get his a title eliminator against a fellow Hispanic guy, a guy of Mexican descent, But yeah, he's right here, born and bred in the United States of America. David Benavidez, man. Go ahead and watch that fight, man. Go ahead and watch that fight. America's doing it different from everybody else. Every country ain't doing it the same. They ain't doing it the same. And they been saying that for a while, that Americans, like, you have fighters coming here to the United States of America to learn the pro game. You know what I'm saying? They go into all these different countries. You got some guys might go to Panama. Some guys might go to, Japan or something like that. Some guys might go to Mexico. But as far as, like, learning the program, they hiring American trainers and stuff like that. They getting into the Vegas, Oxnard gym and stuff like that. They going down to Philly. They going in New York and whatnot, trying to pick up how to fight the American style. That's what some of these amateurs are doing. Decorated amateurs doing. It's like, man, I gotta learn how to fight the pro game. And you saw what happened to Vasil Lomachenko. Who put it on him?